So the question, what do you believe, isn't so much about what you think rationally about the universe, as much as it is, what does your life look like as you live it? Because that is what you believe. It is what we all believe. What we believe is what we live. Those things aren't separate from one another. One of the questions is, how consciously are we aware of how we are telling them? Because the degree to which we are consciously and intentionally telling them one way will tend to shape how we understand other parts of this story. Because if I'm walking around saying to myself things like, I really wasn't good enough for my dad, I got news for you. I don't care if you believe in a good God or not. It's going to be really difficult for your brain to believe that you're good enough for God either. Now, you'll buy the theological position that says, well, of course you're not good enough for God. This is why he had to send Jesus, and we get all those theological T's crossed and I's dotted and so forth. But even after that's done, when you know that you're saved, it doesn't feel like I'm good enough. You with me? Because as we've said, the same brain that your parents dealt with and that your brothers and sisters dealt with and that your children deal with is the same brain that God has to deal with. So here's a question I have for you. Who are your co-authors? Who are the important people in your life that right now are helping to shape your story? And you know what? When I ask that question, who are your co-authors? They don't even have to be alive. We know that we can still have the voice of a deceased parent in our head telling us things that we wish we could forget. Or we even have the voice of someone who is really helpful and meaningful for us in our mind, telling us things that we really want to remember, right? So it's important to know, who are our co-authors? We never tell stories by ourselves. The gospel comes and says, no to shame. The gospel comes and says, I am with you even to the end of the age. The gospel comes and says, I will not leave you as orphans. And it's not just that he's coming to adoptees, he's coming to parents. He's coming to us. He's coming to us to say no to sin and shame and death and yes to life. And so my hope for you is to go into your communities, creating space for your story to be told and to be heard well. Because we tell stories mainly so that they can be heard, which means we need other people. To go into your communities, tell your stories well, invite your children's stories to the table, that we may all collectively continue to be part of God's woven kingdom.